Hey everybody, Ethan here. Welcome to Hello Road. So as you can see, my 1986 Nissan Stanza Wagon is slowly returning to the earth. I bought this car a couple years ago, and since then I've taken it on a couple really fun adventures, but unfortunately, I've got too many cars in my fleet, and this one has just been lowest priority. It's a really super cool, super unique, rare car, but there's just been other projects that have been taking my attention, which is a bummer because this car is really rad. You just don't see these things anymore. And the crazy thing is this car only has 50,000 miles on it. Be sure to check out my other video with this car where we explore all of the Stanza Wagon's weird features and idiosyncrasies, and we take a look at the history of this car.
The new 1986 Nissan Stanza Wagon, the only wagon with dual sliding doors.
I bought this car because I really wanted to save it. I wanted to keep it from going to the crusher, but unfortunately, I've taken on a little bit more than I can handle with all the cars that I have here, so this one is just sat. So I figured today, I really have to do something about this car. Got to get it at least running again. So obviously you can tell that there's a lot of issues. It needs some new tires, the paint is a little faded, but I just have to, at the very least, get it running again. So let's see if we can do that today. And before we get started, I think it's just important to say this, and I've said it a couple times before. Owning more than just a handful of cars is really a terrible, terrible idea unless you have unlimited funds and unlimited time, which I do not. I have neither of those things. So what I really need to do is get this project fixed up and then spend some time looking to see if I can find the Stanza Wagon fanatics that are out there, all maybe 2 or 3 of them, and then maybe I could pass this car on to one of those people. I love this car, I love the history of it, I love the quirkiness of it, I love the fact that you don't see these anymore, but I just don't drive it that much, so it needs to go to somebody that will absolutely adore it. First off, let's get it running. Chances of this starting right away are incredibly slim, but let's just take a chance. I think the battery's probably dead, but let's find out. Oh yeah, definitely dead. Very, very dead. Oh, check that out. Looks like a spider has made a really nice home right there. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this simple. I'm gonna put some new fuel in the car since the gas in the tank has been sitting for a very long time, and actually I don't even know if there's any fuel in the car. And then I'm just gonna try to jump it. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, nothing. Maybe that little charger doesn't have enough juice. Ooh, it started. Ah! That was good. It started for a second. Let's try again. Look at that. It's actually running. Oh, just quit. All right, so it was actually running there for just a brief moment. That's exciting. That's really great. This car hasn't run in, I don't know, maybe a year. I know, it's so sad. Let me just try jumping it with one of my other vehicles. Don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm pretty excited. It's actually running a little bit. All right, Scion XB to the rescue, we hope. All right, what do you think? Is it gonna start? I think it is, maybe. I don't know, I usually have terrible luck with cars, but I'm feeling pretty good about this one. Let's find out. Ah, bummer, just not enough juice to get this thing started. All right, I think what I might do is just throw a new battery in this car, and maybe while I'm out, I'll take these wheels and tires and maybe throw some new rubber on this as well. Not exactly in the best shape. Now, I've stated this before, and it probably should go without mentioning, but I'm not a mechanic. I am merely somebody with too many broken cars. This is not a mechanic channel. This is not a learning channel. Don't do what I do. Pretty much take a look at my life and do the exact opposite. That tire's seen better days. Okay, so the rest of the tires are pretty much holding air, mostly. So I'm just gonna swap out this one. Just to get the car moving, I'm gonna swap out this one tire. See if I can find a used tire shop and find the cheapest possible tire I can find. All right, that looks pretty good. Making some small bit of progress. And you may notice this blue wire attached to the positive terminal right here. Apparently the previous owner had some wiring issues, as you can see here. So some of the stuff is wired directly to the battery, and I have to figure out exactly what that is because the electrical system in this car is pretty wonky. Okay, now the moment of truth. Will my 1986 Nissan Stanza Wagon start? Let's find out. It started! I don't know if you noticed, car's running. The Stanza Wagon is actually running! Well, I'm incredibly pleased that this thing is running. It's good to know that there's nothing insanely wrong with the engine. It's not completely perfect. I can hear the fuel pump whining, but at least it runs. Now, let's see if it drives. This is great! This is great! It's actually driving! You know, it's funny because the car sat there for over a year, just kind of slowly turning into dust. And I started to get disheartened. I kind of thought maybe I'd have to give up on this thing, but it really didn't take very much to get it going again. Granted, none of the gauges work except for the speedometer, and I probably should have replaced all of the tires, but just wanted to get it around the block. That's kind of the problem of having so many vehicles is you just don't have time to work on them. Like I said, don't ever buy a lot of cars. It's mostly terrible. I mean, this may look glamorous, you know, driving around in a 1986 Stanza Wagon. I mean, only the finest automobile that Nissan had to offer back in '86, but stick with 1 or 2 cars. You don't need any more than that. But I gotta say, it's so much fun driving this thing. It's such a silly, silly car. Okay, so this thing is now running and driving, which is amazing, but there are still a few things that need to be addressed. The wiring is still kind of a disaster. The fuel pump is whining quite a bit, and it does kind of smell in here a little bit still. But other than that, maybe just a wash, a little bit of touch up on the paint. This thing is pretty much just good to go. Well, that's exciting. The Stanza Wagon is finally running after just sitting there in my yard, off there in the corner, forgotten about, sitting there for about a year. It's actually moving under its own power. There's still a few issues that I need to sort out, but at least it's not just rotting in my yard, and I feel maybe slightly better about it. And hopefully, if you're a fan of this car, you'll hate me just a little bit less. Okay, so future plans for this car, I'm gonna replace all 4 of the tires. Gonna try to replace the fuel pump. It might be a little bit difficult because I don't believe they actually make a fuel pump for this car anymore, so might have to get a little bit creative. And then just try to sort out the crazy messed up electrical system in this thing. Now I gotta go give this car a much deserved bath. It really needs it. It's filthy. Before you leave, I just wanted to thank you for watching. I've got more weird cars and more videos with those cars coming soon. If you've been watching for a while, thanks. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon so you can be notified of my new and used car reviews, road trip stories, and get notified anytime I buy another weird car. If you'd like to help support the show and allow me to continue making these videos, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/HelloRoad. You'll get early access to my videos and more. And finally, if you'd like to help spread the word, you can buy a Hello Road t-shirt or hat at helloroad.tv/shop. I've got a few different designs available there, and it would really go a long way to help me continue to make these videos. So thanks so much. Now I guess I gotta go find another weird car to buy. See you later.